Speaking of immigration attorneys, Donald Trump had this to say about people who are, and there's a story in the Times today, I think it was, about, maybe it was over the weekend, about women in Honduras who are subject to enormous amount of violence and are trying to get out of the country. I have the piece right in front of me. But on a daily basis, we're starting to see these pieces. And particularly in the context of cutting aid to these multiple Mexico countries as we have down there, according to Fox News. The idea, like this is that Black Mirror show, right? I remember that one, essentially the ICE people of that show were given some type of either drug or something to actually see immigrants as literally alien beings that they could then shoot. And that's, of course, a metaphor. But those type of tactics are being employed right now by the president of the United States. I don't know if he's conscious of what he's doing or not. He's just, he may not be, but that's the de facto impact of talking about people who have run from their countries because they are fearing for their lives or their safety or the lives of their children, coming to this country to seek asylum, knowing that their chances of getting it are slim, but if they can get asylum here, it is worth it because of what they're running from. Here's Donald Trump commenting on these people.
We have people coming into the country or trying to come in. We're stopping a lot of them. But we're taking people out of the country. You wouldn't believe how bad these people are. These aren't people. These are animals. And we're taking them out of the country at a level and at a rate that's never happened before. And because of the weak laws, they come in fast. We get them, we release them, we get them again, we bring them out. It's crazy. The dumbest laws, as I said before, the dumbest laws on immigration in the world. So we're going to take care of it, Margaret. We'll get it done.
Yeah. What he's talking about is our asylum process. That's what he's talking about.
That's fascism. I just think we could just underline,
extermination
about that. That's what it is. I mean, that you could stack up against any of the highest dehumanization rhetoric of Germany, Serbia, Rwanda. That's it.
Here is more on that from Donald Trump in front of and this is really reprehensible on some level, even more so because of the audience, frankly. He's in front of the Republican Jewish Coalition leadership meeting. I'm not one of those people who believes that because it says in the Bible you should take in immigrants. But if there is a constituency in the past 100 years that might be sensitive to the idea of refugees, of running from a situation that creates great peril and harm and danger to your families, you would expect a Jewish coalition of any political stripe to have that level of sensitivity. Apparently not when it comes to the Republican Jewish coalition, and obviously not Donald Trump.
And the asylum program is a scam. Some of the roughest people you've ever seen. People that look like they should be fighting for the UFC. They read a little page given by lawyers that are all over the place. Lawyers. They tell them what to say. You look at this guy, you say, wow, that's a tough cookie. I am very fearful for my life. I am very worried. that I will be accosted. If I am sent back home, no, he'll do the accosting. Asylum. Oh, give him asylum. He's afraid. He's afraid. We don't love the fact that he's got tattoos on his face. That's not a good sign. We don't love the fact that he's carrying the flag of Honduras or Guatemala or El Salvador, only to say he's petrified to be in his country. To confront this border crisis, I declared a national emergency.
I mean, like literally,
it's like the Republican
this is
Jewish coalition.
Yeah,
hilarious.
This is so like it. I mean, it really does. Like you can imagine this type of thing, and I could see like making a movie, like a dark satire where you would put in that laugh track during those things as he's mocking people who are seeking asylum, and the idea, frankly, that he's doing this to a room full of Jews and they are laughing is so horrific. So horrific. I mean, I don't know like what age these Jews are, but I know that Jews in my generation, many of our Hebrew school teachers were survivors of the Holocaust who would talk about how Jewish refugees were turned away.
Yeah, well, Jews are
from
people.
country after country. And the idea that he could use this language about refugees is just un-effing believable. It's stunning. And the idea that there aren't, like, frankly, teams of rabbis or Jewish leaders who are not speaking out now is a horror.
I'm not.
It's really a horror. I mean, to you know, how many times has it been pounded in like never forget, never forget, never forget, never forget? Guess what? They forgot. That is the very definition of forgetting. There was nobody who came up with that slogan who thought this only applies to Jews. Unbelievable. I mean, really, it's shocking.
It is sick. It is disgusting. And there have been, groups like Jewish Voices for Peace are very good on this and very prominent on this. But I think that this is also, this is the politics of modern Israel migrating home, right? And that kind of fundamental shift in perspective when never again shifts from a global commitment to protecting all categories of people to never again means we're going to annex the West Bank and pound Gaza.
Yeah,
and obviously the Republican Jewish Coalition is the essence of that position, and it's just pure ethno-nationalism. There's no values you're talking about.
Yeah,
None.
And they convert the tragedy of the Holocaust from a never again for anybody into a cudgel to beat people with who don't support the actions of the Israeli government. It's
insane. I mean, I don't want to make this about Israel here because I want to keep it limited to the fact that he's up there mocking refugees to a group of Jews whose relatives could have easily, and maybe in some cases were, not allowed to come into this country. Oh, they're afraid. They're coming from Germany. They're afraid. Look at them. Look at them. They're afraid. They're very wealthy. They're a lawyer. They're a doctor, but they're afraid of their country. I mean, Jesus. The idea that half that room didn't walk out going like that was really offensive.
Well, that is the natural outcome of that kind of thinking.
They're Republicans. If you want to just keep it domestic, they're Republicans.
That's just unbelievable. I mean, it really is unbelievable that they're just laughing and rolling on the floor in that room.
Yeah, he was killing it.
God.
I also just even want to take a very tangential point here too, and also say that people might be fleeing countries for their lives, and they could be a man who is 6'3" and ripped, like this bizarre. I understand
Catch bullets.
I mean, it's this like bizarre physicalization of like, well, obviously, if you're a dude who's like trim, of course your life isn't in danger.
This is Willie
This
Horton.
is so
It's
demented.
Yeah,
Willie
you can
Horton.
fight
That's
a
the exact
no,
same
death
thing.
explain that
squad
to
all by
people.
yourself.
It's Willie
Explain
Horton.
Willie Horton to people.
Well, Willie
please.
Horton.
That's important.
Everybody. I mean, I don't know. Everybody knows.
No,
Willie
I don't think
Horton.
everybody does. It's important.
George Herbert Walker Bush, Roger Ailes, and Lee Atwater. When they went after Michael Dukakis, they put up pictures of Willie Horton, who was a parolee, I think, in Massachusetts, and ended up killing someone, a black man. But this is, I mean, the idea of the dangerous, black man is coming to get your family, fairly well established and old in this country, used by Republicans. I'm not Republicans, by racist demagogues, probably at one time, back in the day, the Democrats.
Also where the word cuck comes from
Yes,
more recently.
exactly. I mean, this is as old as American politics. So this imagery is a big part of it. It is the whole idea of like, these guys, these aren't humans. They're people of color who look like they're tough and mean. Like you're watching some 70s version of like your standardized criminal element. That Donald Trump probably grew up on. I mean, it's the same thing as he did with
The Central
Park Five. I mean, so it's all part of that same.
The monstrous other.
Yeah.